Hello, and welcome to the Energy Connect studio at the World Utilities Congress 2023. I'm thrilled to have sitting next to me Jeremy Kane, CEO and founder of Yellow Door Energy, joining me for today's interview to talk about the energy transition. Jeremy, thanks for joining me.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Now, to start off, could you just give the audience a bit of an overview about what Yellow Door Energy does in the energy space?
Absolutely. We provide clean energy solutions to businesses. Our value proposition is that we will install, own, operate solar panels, other auxiliary energy equipment so that businesses can reduce their costs, improve their ecological footprint, and improve the reliability.
Great, and you recently raised new funding. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What does that mean in terms of expansion and for yourself, your company?
Well, look, we're 8 years into a very exciting journey, and the participation of Actis as a majority shareholder is something that I'm very excited about. Their capital is going to enable us to grow into new markets, do larger projects, continue with servicing the leading multinationals with better energy solutions.
Great, and how do you feel you're supporting the energy transition and also in this region moving to cleaner energy forms?
Well, look, the energy transition is one that, as the word implies, is a step-by-step process. So today we're helping the factories and the commercial establishments of the Middle East become cleaner, reduce their cost of energy so that they're more profitable. And I think as we move forward with this new funding round, we're looking to take that further into also supporting businesses in markets where maybe the power isn't as comfortable, where it isn't as reliable, and we can provide batteries and other holistic energy solutions. I think the ability to deploy capital now is not a constraint. So we can make those investments. We can provide the capital that these businesses need to transition.
Interesting, and obviously you mentioned earlier, solar was one of the early things you were involved with. So, seen as maybe a solar sustainability leader. But what are you, looking forward to in terms of technology innovations in the solar sphere?
Well, look, I think the transition that we're going through is one that needs new technology, and we can't change everything one day to the next. It's a gradual transition, or we're very focused on this just transition, this need to bring everybody's been involved in conventional energy along with us. So as we see technology getting better, costs of solar coming down, the ability to include batteries into it, it's going to enable us to service the market in a 24/7, more holistic manner.
Interesting. And how do you see the renewable energy industry evolving, and what are the challenges that are still there and could be potentially even bigger in the future?
Well, look, I think if I start with the challenges, we're often painted as an unreliable industry. We can only produce solar, only produce energy when the sun shines. And I think the challenge is to convince people that, hey, you know what, we can do 24/7 power when you include storage, when you augment with other renewables, wind, hydro. And if you can pull all that together, we can cross that barrier and be considered base load. And that's what's going to enable renewables to go from a 10 or 20% participant in any energy mix, to a 50 or greater. And that's not something that happens one day to the next, but with a just transition, we'll get there in the next decade.
Interesting there, Jeremy. And what's your viewpoint on needing to bring the whole energy value chain together to make some of these targets achievable in the timeframes that have been set?
Well, that's so critical, right? I think when you see any value chain scale up, you see cost efficiencies from the point of, solar panels, finding the silicone, purifying and manufacturing that all the way through down to implementation. That cycle is what's enabling solar to be as affordable as it is today. Today, a business in the UAE can reduce their energy costs by 20 to 50% by using solar, and that's an important value proposition. When you think about more emerging markets or markets that are just growing rapidly, they can those markets, and I'm thinking of Saudi, I'm thinking of Egypt, Turkey, South Africa. Those markets are growing and they're energy hungry. If they can implement solar as the new energy source, if they can do it in a distributed manner where that energy is built and installed where it's needed, on a rooftop, on a car park, in a backyard, they can significantly reduce their cost of transitioning. And I think that's where solar and distributed energy are a really important part of this transition.
No, it's very interesting. And final thought before we go, how important is partnership or collaboration, again, across the whole value chain, and countries and governments looking to work with the private sector?
Look, I think in any energy ecosystem, anything that's going to be sustainable, partnerships are critical, right? We've relied on government-led utilities for a century to provide us with reliable energy, and that's not going to change overnight. I think governments are realizing that they don't need to be the only solution, and partnering with private sector, creating regulations that enable the private sector to go about their business, to create energy where they need it, is a more efficient way of powering the future. And if we can continue down that track, governments can spend less money on energy, more money on healthcare or education. And I think that's the optimist in me sees that as a positive future.
Well, let's hope it's that positive. And just as we end here, we're at the World Utilities Congress in Abu Dhabi. What do you see the importance of having a dedicated utility event in the energy space?
Well, look, energy utilities, it's a hand in a glove. And I think even though I talk about distributed, and that's our business working with the incumbent utilities is going to be more successful and make them more successful. So I'm very excited to be part of this.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jeremy. I really appreciate you coming down to the studio.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for watching, and I look forward to bringing you more studio interviews from the show floor.